Hey, what's up everybody? Cole here with another Alliance Wake gear guide review for 2022. Today, right in front of us, we have the Liquid Force ME Aero Core. Let's dive in it. Okay, so Meagan's Pro model comes in an Aero Core, which means that it's gonna come in a really crazy light board, but it's also strong at the same time. Another thing, this is a 3-stage rocker board, so you know you're gonna get a lot of good aggressive pop with it. We also have molded in fins, so you know you're staying locked in. I also really like this squared off tip and tail. You've kind of seen it in the RDX or the old Watsons, so it's really cool to see that. On the bottom here, we have the disc hole with the quad V tip channels. All in all, it's just a lot of really cool stuff going on the bottom to make that board stay fast with helping that water flow underneath, but also giving it just a little bit of extra grip at the same time. The reason they do that is because when you have a 3-stage board, you typically have a slower board, so they're always trying to find options to just help that board speed up. On the edges here, we do have a slight beveled edge, so it's not a super sharp edge. That way, you know, when you're rolling over edge to edge, it just makes it a little bit easier. The ME comes in 3 sizes. You got the 130, you got the 134, and then you got the 138, which this one is the 138 that we were able to ride. I will say it is a girl's board, but at the same time, I don't think you're limited to that option. You know, if you're a guy and you like this graphic and that board size fits you, I would say jump on this thing and you're gonna have a blast. But I will say that the size for me was a little small. Me being 6'2", 180, I think that I would definitely have liked to step up a little bit of a bigger size. But once again, we just wanted to see what Meagan's board was all about, and we definitely got a good taste of it. Now that you know what this board's made of, let's jump over to the categories and see where this thing stacks up. Starting things off for the categories, we want to go with tracking. Tracking, we go 1 through 10. 1 meaning it's super loose, 10 meaning it's super locked in. This board right here has some molded in fins, so you're stuck with what you got, but I think that's totally fine. You know, when you're riding a boat board, you're gonna want as much traction as possible to keep that edge all the way through the wake. Carving and everything on this board was really fun. It was pretty locked in. That's why we're gonna give it an 8 on the scale, because it definitely had a lot of grip on the water. The next category we're gonna look at is speed. We go 1 through 10, 1 being really slow, 10 being really fast. This board right here is a 3-stage board, so typically your board's gonna be a bit slower, but I think a lot of the stuff, you know, they got going on with the hole of the bottom and the quad V tips, I think that helped a lot to help speed up the board, bringing this to a 7 on the scale. The next thing we want to look at is pop. We go 1 through 10 as well. 1 no pop, 10 to the moon. And this board right here stacks up pretty good with that 3-stage rocker. So with that 3-stage, you get a nice abrupt pop. And even though the board was a little small for me, it had the rigidity to hold through that wave regardless to give me the pop that I needed. With that being said, the pop landed at a 7 on the scale. What goes up, it's got to come down. So we talk about the landings. We go 1 through 10 as well. 1 meaning it lands like a bag of bricks, and 10 means it's soft as pillows. Now with this board, it is a 3-stage rocker, and typically with those, you're gonna have slower, more harsh landings typically because the board wants to stop. But I think that they did a pretty good job at keeping this board pretty fast. Also at the same time, it is a bit of a smaller board for me. So that affected my landings. I think for somebody that, you know, the board fits them correctly, I think that this number would go up, but for me, the landings were a 6 out of 10. The last thing we look at is swing weight, and that's just where we want to see how that board feels underneath your feet and do you notice it. Now, 1 is very heavy, 10 is super duper light, and this board right here is the Aero Core. So you know you're getting one of the lightest boards on the market you could possibly get. That accompanied with the smaller size, it was very surprising how I could barely even feel the board underneath my feet when spinning, which is a really nice thing when you're trying to bring those spins around. That's why this thing lands at a 9 on the scale. I think all these things make up a really good board. You know, I think Meagan's an amazing rider, but I think she's got a really amazing board right here to back that up. I think the graphics sick, super light, you can't beat that. But if you guys want to know more information, head over to liquidforcewake.com to check it out. Smash the like button if you guys liked the video, but don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future reviews coming out. I'm Cole, see you on the next one.